Greetings. Again, the video still gets me in the mood. Absolutely love it. Welcome to episode 68. And before anyone says it, I know we've got to get that changed. It's got the old logo on it, hasn't it? But I'm not interested. It's the race cars on the circuit, and that's what we're looking forward to this weekend. Greetings to you all piling in. It's so good to see you getting in early, and the comments have been coming in early as well. Great to see a newbie, George Gillespie. Hi, Chris. Very excited for this weekend at Castle Combe. First time going to Summer Spectacular because I'm only 12. Welcome, mate. You're going to have a fabulous time, I have no doubt. Dan Williams says, evening, Mr. Dawes, not racing this weekend, but will be there supporting the GMS, Grant Motorsport team. Fingers crossed, no rain. I think we're looking good. There may be like a little bit lunchtime Saturday, but that's about it. I don't think it's too much at all, to be fair. George also says, I'm very excited for Classic Touring Car Racing Club especially. I feel you. I feel you. It's so good to have the Classic Touring Car Racing Club. We did the Classic Touring Car Racing Club TV on Tuesday night. They're excited about coming to Castle Combe as well. So that's the great site. It's going to be exciting from both perspectives. Henry Moore, I'll be there this weekend as always. Good man. Glad to see you're going to be there. Someone who's not going to be there, Stuart Tinker Taylor. Good evening, Chris and co. from the Camp Softcore fan and Fuffer lover in sunny Turkey. Don't rub it in, mate, but we'll rub it in that we're going to be enjoying the rain. The rain? The racing? What's the matter with me? The racing. That's what I mean. Stop laughing, Colin Peach in the green room. I saw you then. Good to hear. Tracy, good evening to you. I'm sure you'll be cheering on Adam, as always, on the weekend. Phil Martin says, have a great weekend, everyone. Sadly, it has come too soon after NY illness. Thank you for all the love shown to me. Get well soon, my friend. And sorry it's come a bit too soon. One of our Orange Army, evening all. Dilly dilly from me. Dilly dilly from me as well, mate. You know that was a safe bet, wasn't it? Fishbowl of gin, you know it. Tina Weston, the hot hatch coordinator, evening all. Evening, Tina. You're going to be busy, aren't you? Only on one of the days, though, this time at least, although I dare say you'll be there for both. Gerald Howell says, evening, y'all. Another one of our mighty volunteers there. The wonderful Caroline Sutton. Evening, Caroline. I actually thought about that during that video montage that we actually saw the car, the famous MG ZR, sadly without the champ with us anymore, Mark Sutton. But I see that Nathan, I'm pretty sure I saw his name, and I'm assuming that he's out in the ZR again, which is great that we get to see it there. Pippa Gore, my dancing marshal. Greetings, Chris. So sad I'll not be there. Get well soon, Pippa. For people that don't know, Pippa had a terrible fall, and she's now Robo Woman, as she calls herself, because she's had various replacements and pins and everything. But the good news is she's out of hospital, she's recovering, just not quick enough for her liking, because she can't come this weekend, and I'm covering American Speedfest next weekend at Brands Hatch, and she was hoping that she could get there. So if anyone can give her a lift to American Speedfest, get in touch with her, because she wants to get there spectating, not in orange that time, obviously. Emma Strawford, our very own Emma, says, good evening, everyone. Words to H to Howard Strawford incoming. She's going to be making sure there's no rain. That's fine. I hope you've got some French red in hand as well. Pete Spiller says, evening, Mr. Dawes. Nothing like a race weekend to ruin the weather. You're not wrong, are you, mate? It's beautiful out there at the moment. We'll get to the race weekend and it'll all change. But I think actually we're looking positive. It's certainly going to be warm by the looks of it. Bring it on. It seems forever since we were there last, doesn't it, mate? Doesn't it? Carl Ward, that's Nathan Ward's dad, the Class B super driver in the Formula Fords. Well, normally we'd be watching, but after a day testing, the call of the bell and a cold pint and dinner is too good to miss. See everyone on Saturday. I understand that, mate. And then Nathan himself, evening all, after a fantastic test day. It went well then. Good man. We're all set for racing on Saturday. Bring it on. Of course, the Formula Fords have both their races on the Saturday. Mike Cotton says, you're back. I am, mate. I don't know whether to apologise or whether that's a good thing, mate, but you're always there. That's the good thing. You're one of our regulars, which is appreciated. Darren Duffield, hello, everybody. Couple of days and we'll be racing again. Absolutely. Apart from you won't be, mate. Darren has gone from driver to running the team. He's gone to team manager role this year, which is terrifically exciting. But I miss you being out on circuit, mate. Lynn Bates, good evening, Chris. Good evening, Lynn. Welcome to the show. Carla Lake, hello. Welcome to yourself. Castle Combe Racing Club themselves, that'll be Kat, who I know all of you adore because she really helps everyone. She's an absolute stalwart. Evening all, she says. Goose from the Quarry Hardcore says, evening, no talk of rain again. Sorry, mate. We'll cut it off now. That's it. That's no more talk of rain. You hear that, Colin? No talk of rain when you come on. Yeah, good. I don't know why I'm blaming you. I started it, but there we go. Matt Coyle, our saloon car coordinator. Good evening, everyone. I have a feeling this is going to be an epic weekend. I'm with you, Matt, on that. I agree. It is just a fantastic program that has been put together, and I cannot wait for it. It's just epic. It really is. Jackson says, looking forward to Sunday. Newly moved from Wales. Been loving the circuit. Welcome, mate. Missing the Saturday? God, you should be there for that as well, but welcome. Tina confirms, of course I should be there both days. Oh, I forgot this. I'm glad you reminded me. Saturday, it's our very own Tina Weston's birthday. Happy birthday in advance, and make sure that you or your hubby give me a nudge to remind me that on the day. Emma Strawford says, French red at hand. Our word is a swear. What R word? I can't remember now. And Tom Davies says, evening, Dawsey. Evening, mate. I can't remember. I think you're coming to this one as well. And I think you're at Speedfest the following weekend. So you're fed up of hearing from me before long. Right. That's caught up with the comments for now. Thank you, everybody, for letting them come in. Don't forget, like, love, share, get it out there. Eric Pierce, John Green, thank you for your likes. I knew I spoke too soon. Tim Street says, good evening. Looking forward to a fun day again on Saturday. Okay, what gin you on tonight, Chris? Ooh, that's Sam's dad, by the way. Sam Street's dad. Tim, I can't remember what it is now. I've got like a cupboard full of different ones because it's lovely. People buy me them as gifts and things like that. And I actually helped someone with their father of the groom speech recently, and he got me a selection of locally distilled gin, and I think it's one of those. It's absolutely beautiful. We also had someone else that bought me some earlier, and that was our Stuart Tinker Taylor and his lovely wife Lisa. They bought me a bottle recently. I've got a feeling, mate, that one's gone already. It was a beauty, that one was. Thank you. I think that was rhubarb and something. It was absolute beauty. But yeah, sorry, we've gone off on a tangent there, haven't we? Oh, yes, sorry. Emma Strawford said the weather element. Yes, the R word is swearing. Agreed. Apologies. I didn't get it at all. Mike Seaborn says, looking forward to visiting Combe again. Won my first championship on the kart track there. Wow, that's going to be cool. Mike Seaborn, out in the Jags from memory, I think you are, Mike. Thanks, Collins just nodded. I didn't realise you were my sanity check as well, mate. We've also, Tina says, don't worry, I shall bring you some cake. That'll remind me. That'll definitely remind me. Stuart Monster Dog Dowell says, looking forward to seeing everyone on Sunday. My dad, Darren Duffield, is bringing me. Good man. That's what I like to see. Steve Backman says, see you Sunday, Chris. Indeed, mate. Looking forward to it. Okay. Tom says, not at Speedfest next week, at Thruxton for the Classic. So get a break of your voice. You're welcome, mate, that you get to not put up with me too many weekends. I thought I remembered you saying that, but you go and enjoy Thruxton. Goose from the Quarry Hardcore says, working nights Friday, going to be a late startish for me Saturday, not the 8 a.m. usual start. Sunday, back to normal. Well, the big thing to remember is that Saturday is qualifying most of the morning. And I say it's most of the morning because we have one race before lunch. So 8:30 qualifying gets underway with the Kumho BMW Championship, the Rodger Card Memorial Races. There's cash prizes for those guys. And it's sort of increased the grid a little bit there, which is nice. And for a very special person, Rodger Card, that is Mr. Kumho BMW, was Mr. Kumho BMW. His son, James Card, will be racing as well. Then we've got classic touring cars, Formula Fords, Jags, Sports 2000 Duratec, classic touring cars again with another couple of classes, Sports 2000 Historics, and then the Thunder Saloons all doing their qualifying. And then we get race one before lunch at 12:25. So remember that, Goose. 12:25 is the first race. It's the first of the pair of Kumho BMW Championship. And by the way, for those regulars, there are some familiar faces in that. primarily in the name of Jazz Sapra and Brian Branson. They're going to be out for that. And Brian will be hoping to get an outright victory, that's for sure. Then we've got the Formula Ford 1600 grid walk. So if you're that area, get yourself down to the start-finish straight and you'll be able to get out on the grid. We're also hopefully going to be interviewing a marshal who retired at the end of last year. And I've got to remind myself, it was countless years of service, even missing his own brother's wedding to be on the banks, would you believe? He's now retired and we're going to be grabbing an interview with him on the start-finish line. So that'd be nice. And then it's wall-to-wall racing through till 6 p.m. But on the Sunday, it's just 4 qualifying sessions: the Hot Hats, the MG Owners, the Saloon Car Championship, and the Cars Production GTi Championship qualifying. So that means the first race on Sunday is at 10:20 or earlier if it goes well. Remember that it will get underway. And then the grid walk at lunchtime on the Sunday is the Castle Combe Racing Club Saloon Car Championship that will be out there. You can get autographs from the drivers, photos of the cars, of the drivers, and just frankly, being on the grid is pretty darn cool, I have to say. It's a great fun way to do it. Mike Seaborn confirms, yep, in the Jags, lots of noise, lots of sideways. Amen to that, brother. It is great watching those Jags out there. Goose is fine. He said he'll be there by 11, so that's no problem. Dave, Baggy Malpass, evening, mate. Good evening, Mr. Dawes. It looks like the gin is flowing, as always, mate. And hope it doesn't affect your speech tomorrow. Getting you mucking Fords waddled is not a good thing for a commentator. It's not tomorrow, it's the day after, don't forget, mate. So I've got time to recover. We're all right. We're all right. Right, now, before we go on to all of the other bits and pieces, I've managed to snag ourselves a guest. I've already been speaking about him, and it is, let me see, what have I done with the notes for that one? I put them somewhere safe. It is, whilst I'm looking for that in a second, it's the Sports 2000s. Now, these things are absolute weapons around the Castle Combe Circuit, and I cannot wait to see them going through there. They are going to be so quick. Here we go. It was in a safe place. And it is one of the drivers in that one. Let me see. Let me just remind myself. Car 117, Duratec B, a Van Diemen RFS02, that can't be right, but I'm going to bring him on that. It is. He's nodding his head. Okay. I'd forgotten that fact. It's Colin Peach. Bring him in. Let me change that round and put you up to the bigger focus. Good evening, Colin.
Hi. Thank you very much, Chris.
You all right, mate? I see you were waiting patiently in the background there.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, it's nice to see the Jaguars out as well, because I've done a bit with them as well. So
I did see that actually when I was getting back up to speed again with your information, and I saw that you had done some stuff in the Jags, and I thought you'd be feeling at home seeing them there.
Yeah, no, they're excellent. So
speak to us about your car, and I should have looked at you. Were too small in the green room for me to read the t-shirt, and I love that with the 117. It is a Van Diemen, and of course I associate that with Formula Fords.
Yeah, that's what they're mostly known for, is their Formula Fords. But they did make Sports 2000s. There's quite a lot of them went over to America as well. So the car itself's one of the newer old Van Diemens. So it's from 2002. So it's quite an old car now. But
okay.
Yeah, there's about 3 or 4 of them that are still going in Sports 2000 Duratecs.
Well, I mean, the thing that I love is that there's a fantastically eclectic mix. I mean, you're in the Duratecs rather than the Historics.
Yeah.
Which I think it's actually called Historics rather than Pinto these days.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's changed recently, yes.
Yeah, I thought so. And I was like going, right, okay, I need to make sure I get that right. And it's split grids this year, isn't it? That's a nice addition.
Yeah, I was a bit like you. I'd like to be a bit prepared. So I was looking back, and last time we went to Castle Combe, we only had 20 cars, and it was a mixed grid. So yeah, we've got 20 in Duratecs and similar, I think, in the Historics. So
slightly less, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's good, healthy grids, and I saw that because I commentated on you guys at Silverstone earlier this year, and it was just a lovely thing to have the grid split, and it seems to have attracted a lot more of the Historics out, I would say.
Oh, definitely.
In terms of the Sports 2000s, if you were going to give a synopsis about what a Sports 2000 car is, what would you say? On the spot, I know.
Thoroughbred racing car.
They really are, aren't they? I mean,
Yeah.
one of my old school friends, Keith Mizzen, races with you. Sadly, he's not out at Combe, which is a shame. But he says is that it's the best bang for your buck in terms of the speed and the handling you get out of these cars for the cost is such an incredible return.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. These cars are really, really quick. Like 0 to 60 in them, 2.5 seconds. And we'll probably be doing 130 miles an hour over Avon Rise. You know,
Wow.
they're very, very quick cars.
I mean, they are. They're super. And the point being is that they don't have to slow down excessively for the corners with all the
Not
downforce on them
massively.
either. No.
Yeah, especially in the Duratec's. The historics, they move around a lot more. They're really.
True.
I started off in the historics, so I've driven them for a number of years, and they were really, really good fun as well. So they don't have the downforce; they slide, and you can drive them really nicely, like a Formula Ford. Yeah,
And
really.
yet the lap times, I'd expect to see some very quick lap times from you guys.
Yeah, I think we're doing about 107s in the Duratec's.
Wow.
So
Super impressive. I mean, it would be interesting to see actually whether we may well get lap records broken this time because we've got the new. Now it's not a new MCR, but it's a new bodywork on the MCR, isn't it?
yes, it seems to be a big improvement. So
Really does.
yeah,
And
everyone.
I forget the name of the person, but this was designed by an ex Ferrari F1 aerodynamicist.
So yeah, well, it's the students that were at Swansea University. They have John Eiley, Tim Tudor, and they did it for their degree course, redesigning the aerodynamics for it. So yeah, I think John Eiley is previously from Ferrari and Jordan and other teams as well. So
I mean, in itself, that's a pretty cool story, isn't it? Really, for the
yeah,
Sports 2000. I mean, they are just like incredible bits of kit. I'm just looking. Tom Stoughton's not out. He's been having all sorts of problems with his car, though, hasn't he, this year? An ex
not necessarily
multiple
problems,
champion.
but they've changed. They've gone for they've changed the whole design philosophy of their car. They've got this single shock absorber system that they're going on. So they're just spending more time testing rather than racing at the moment. So
Which
it's a
is
shame because
basically
he's
what
one of the good ones.
he is. He's a multiple champion, isn't he? And he
Yeah,
was rather a forlorn figure when I spoke to him in the garages at Silverstone, that's for sure.
yeah.
I tried to tease him up to the fact of going, it's got to be a good challenge, though. You've won lots of championships, and now you've got this development. And he went, yeah, okay.
I feel his pain.
Yeah, he wants to be back at the front, doesn't he? That's for sure.
Definitely.
In terms of, we'll come back to the Sports 2000s in a second, but I want to jump to you for a moment, if I may. Is that reading your story is such a cool one? Is that you were quite late starting racing?
Yes. I didn't sit in a racing car of any type, goat cars or anything, till I was about 26. Previous to that, I was doing radio control car racing with my friends all the way up till then. And then I entered a TV show called So You Want to Be an F1 Driver. Got quite far into that. I think got about the 5th round. Got knocked out just before the final 20.
Oh, wow.
But the judge, Tim Matthews, he offered me a drive for 3 races at the end of the 2006 season in Sports 2000. So obviously I took him up on the offer.
Yes.
And nearly 20 years later, I'm still there. So
I mean, that is incredible. And it is. I mean, I've lost count of how many times I've commentated on you, to be honest with you. I don't think I caught you in the Jags. When did that happen?
After, oh God, about 3 or 4 years ago. They're both times we've been at Thruxton. So probably
Okay.
wouldn't have.
No, I've only been there a few times to Thruxton, so yeah, I missed you doing that. So that makes sense of that. But I certainly saw the notes. But your heart clearly lies with the Sports 2000s.
Oh, absolutely, I love them. So,
what's have you got a success record, or are you sort of like a victim to these common names that are at the front?
well, the championship's broken up into classes. So we have the Class A cars for the modern cars, Class B for the older cars. So like the older cars like mine is converted from a historic car, so it's still got the manual H-pattern gearbox and stuff.
Okay.
So that's a bit of the difference. But we have our own classes, which I've won Class B a couple of times overall. But generally, the racing is so good, the cars are so good that even now I try to always finish in the top 10 overall. So the latest cars and the old cars are still really competitive with each other. So,
which,
it
I mean,
makes for
that's
good
saying
racing.
for a B class to be in the top 10 overall. I mean, that is super impressive, to be fair.
Yeah.
You're leading Class B again this year at the moment.
Yes.
It's I'm just trying to see where's the total number of points. There we go, 63. Actually, you're controlling it. John Owen on 36 in his MCR S2. So you are in control at the moment of Class B. So you'll be hoping to
Yeah.
carry that on.
I hope so. Yeah. So, like I said, I tend to look at the overall standings because I like beating the Class A cars. It's a real sense of achievement to beat the better cars. So,
And to put that one up there, 7th overall, and that is super impressive with some pretty big names that you're ahead of there. I'm not sure you're supposed to be ahead of Roger Donan now, are you? Because he's
probably not.
chairman. Is that his title? Boss.
uh,
Boss. We can say
yeah,
that.
chairman, I think he is. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
or club secretary, maybe.
You need to be careful there. Then he's behind you, so that's not what you'd want. But Michael Gibbons is leading the way at the moment on 62 points from last year's champion Josh Law on 50. Several of these are sort of getting used to this new bodywork, though, aren't they? I would say.
Yes, especially Michael's only had it this year, I think, which has helped him massively. Ash Law's got it this year as well, which is he's had a really great season as well so far. So he's doing really well with that. So yeah,
Well,
the new bodywork seems
Ash
to
is
be.
behind you in the standing, so you can't say that. But
He's had a
Josh
great start.
he's still up in second. Third is Paul Traherne, David Houghton, and then the Tudor and Sherrington duo. How are they
Yes.
doing that?
I'm not sure. They had Patrick was there at Brands Hatch, sharing the car with Tim. So I'm not sure if that's just a quirk in the championship or whether they're sharing it for the rest of the season. But
Got you. Yeah, because Sherrington, but well, both of them are names that have been around in it for a long, long time as well. It does seem to be a vortex, doesn't it? Once you're in, that's it.
yeah, so, yes,
You don't want to go anywhere else.
no,
Leading Class A, of course, is Michael Gibbons, 62 to 50 from Josh Law. So score you score both in your class and overall, I see then.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep, I can see that one. So you're going to be cementing your Class B plus the overall in the historic. Now, we don't have last year's champions of the historic out this weekend, Mark Noiro and where are they at the moment? John Harmer, second in the standings at the moment, but they're not out this weekend, I see.
I don't know. Maybe they've gone to watch Le Mans.
It might be, and I did tell me because I know those two from their catering racing days as well, and that was exciting. That came down. I was there for the Brands Hatch Decider at the end of last year on the commentary team for that one, and it really came down to the very last race, didn't it, for
Yeah,
those guys? And that's the way you want it.
yeah, that's exactly it. So that's the whole championship, the historics and the Durotex. It's always really, really close. Normally goes down to the last round. So
Yeah,
great.
that's what we like. Shriver in car number 37, leading the way in his Royal RP37. Warren Harmer second on 50, only 4 points behind them, but only 4 points behind them is Charlie Hyatt, and Charlie is out there in this race, and he'll be looking to jump ahead of them this time. Incidentally, Ross Hyatt is his company Aspley House Capital PLC are the sponsor of the Historics. And to show the love of it, in the Duratex, it's then David Gorst, his company BS Burner Supplies, are the sponsor of that. So it goes to show the belief that you drivers have in this championship is that sponsoring it as well.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Is obviously it's there for the long term. If you're sponsoring your own championship, then it's really, really good series to be in. So
absolutely, and I always say that because thank you guys for the sponsorship. I know you all do because it does help the championship when those sponsors are on board. So you've got qualifying each Saturday morning. You've then got one race apiece in the afternoon on Saturday, and race Sports 2000 Historics are on Sunday morning, and then your Duratec one is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So after your first race, which is the only race number 3. You've got a nice long gap,
Oh,
haven't
no.
you?
Yes, we have. So yeah, we get
Barbecues
to
will
watch
be
some
out.
racing. Yeah, definitely. Go watch some racing and then have some barbecue. Be brilliant.
You do. I mean, how many times have you been to Castle Combe, either as a spectator and a competitor?
Ooh, I've been there lots. I've got a couple of classic minis, so I go to the mini festival that you have there, the action days, watch the Mighty Minis racing and stuff. So I've been there a few times, probably only about 3 or 4 times racing, and then a lot of times watching and spectating.
Favorite spot to spectate?
Probably Quarry, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a really obvious place, but it's a really good spot to watch from. So
it is. And still, that love is the fact that from most places you can see so much of the circuit anyway, can't you?
yeah.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful circuit on that front. Okay, from a driving perspective, favorite part of the circuit to drive on?
Oh, there's a chicane. I think the S's. You go through the S's, and then there's a right-hand corner which you can just about take flat in the Sports 2000, so you don't lift. So the car's really dancing. So probably that part of the track's my favourite.
Okay, so S is into Old Paddock,
Yeah,
right in front of my commentary colleague that will be over in that box, which will be in Salmons over at Old Paddock commentary box. So he'll be enjoying it there. Scariest part of the circuit,
I think it's Tower Corner.
really?
Yeah, I think it just sort of jumps out at you, and I really want to push around there, but there's not a lot of runoff on the outside if you make a mistake. So
No, there
probably
really is.
Towers is the scariest part for me. So
Yeah, I can understand that, and I think that does come out a fair few bits, and it's kind of like almost like a double apex to some extent as well, isn't it?
yeah, I think that's what make that. I don't know if I'm going to say tempts you to want to go faster through it because it's that double apex. It's an interesting corner. It's one of the fun ones. So
We've had a few of our Formula 4 drivers have made passes around the outside at Tower.
I believe it because I think if you're brave enough, you can definitely try.
It's not doesn't happen excessively often, but when they do it, we all kind of tend to lose ourselves for a moment when they do it. It's a big ballsy move, that one, isn't
It
it?
is, I bet.
It is. Well, I mean, I'm delighted to hear that as well as the Sports 2000 with a fantastic grid. I have to say is that yeah, we got something like I can see it on the screen in front of me now. 20 Duratechs at the moment, possibly some extras that will come in, and 19. So actually, there's only one difference between them. Oh no, sorry, the historics are 13 on the grid at the moment in historics, 19 in the Duratechs. But we could still have a few late comings in. Did you go testing today?
No, testing's cheating.
Yeah, absolutely. Too right. Do you know if any of them did?
I think I saw on Facebook that the Tim Tudor MCR was down there, and I think I saw Chris Snowden might have been cheating as well. So
I love it. I love it. The banter starts already. I mean, I get the impression it is a great paddock to be part of as well.
oh, it's definitely we've got some drivers that drive over from the Netherlands to come race with us. Peter Brewer, who's in Class B, so I'm quite pally with him.
Yeah.
He comes over, and I asked him, "Why'd you come all the way here?" And he said, "The racing's about the same, but it's after the racing everyone becomes friends. When in other
Wow.
places he's raced, it stays very competitive all the way through. So that's why he likes to race in the UK." So, and I sort of agree with him totally that it's a really nice paddock in all the championships in the UK, not just Sports 2000.
Although I see he's not over this time.
No, he had a bit of an accident at Brands Hatch, so he's got some
Oh,
repairs to make to his car. So
I love seeing in Class B as well. You've got a driver I've commentated on countless times in the Monopostos in Bryn Tootle. That's an experienced racing driver right there.
is it? So I think he's only started with us this year, so I've not really had much chance to chat with him and talk to him about his car and stuff yet. But
I dare say he's still getting used to it, but I just know that he was incredibly quick in the monopostos in the single seater. So he's going to have that aerodynamics kind of idea and what have you, isn't he? So that'll be interesting to
definitely, yeah.
see. But yeah, it's going to be super tight at the front yet again. Keep an eye out. Michael Gibbons, Josh Law, incredibly close. I mean, actually saying that 12 points in it, but you get the idea is that they're going to be going for it. And it is a brave circuit, isn't it? And it doesn't suit everybody.
Definitely. There's a it's a much faster circuit than you think. Like Thruxton's obviously the fastest in the UK, and I run the same ratios around here as I do around Thruxton. So it says how fast Castle Combe is. It's a really, really great track. It's one of my favourites. So
Yeah, no, and we love you for saying that. You've said it to the right people that it's your favourite. That's for sure. But no, I get that as well. And let's not kid ourselves. It's Marmite. There's some people that just can't, whether it's the lack of runoff, the speed of it, those sort of things, and they just go, no, can't get my head around it. And it's their least favourite to it being their favourite, and it's like, that's fine. We'll sit there as well as that.
It's a really great track. It's a really, really fun track. So I was really pleased when I saw it come back this year. So.
Yeah, 2018, I think, was the last
time.
Yeah,
it was a long time.
So. It really was. So it is brilliant to see that you guys are back again, and we look forward to that. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on, Colin. I do appreciate it. Told you there was no need to be worried about coming on. I don't bite much. And it's just brilliant to sort of give us a bit of an insight into the Sports 2000s. It's a real wonderfully quick car, but very rewarding by the looks of it as well.
Oh, they're brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much for having me on.
No problem.
It's been great to talk to everybody. Hope I've not bored you too much.
No, definitely not. We can't wait to see the Sports 2000s. There'll be some of the quickest cars over the weekend, and we thank you for coming out to play in them, mate. And we wish you all the best of luck.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, mate. Cheers. So that's great to get someone on from the Sports 2000s. And it's now time to have a look at the other championships. So still the comments are coming in. Thank you very much to Colin for that. And I know that we had Tim Perry said, thank you, Colin. See you Saturday. Although he'll hope he won't see you, mate, because that means that you're having to recover him. Stuart Tinker Taylor, enjoying the sun over in Turkey, says, don't rub it in. I'd rather be there listening to you. Do you know what? I actually believe that as well, mate. Everyone else, I go, yeah, right. But I genuinely do believe that. You guys are absolute hardcore fans over there at Camp Corner, the Camp Softcore, as you call yourself, which is wicked. Lewis Bird Motorsport says, evening, Dawsey. Hope everybody is well. Evening to you, mate. Goose says, Tony Barwell should be racing as his son James hasn't raced at Combe before. That's a lot of knowledge right there. You are an anorak, Goose, aren't you, mate? Eh? You got your anorak on firmly tonight. Emma Brown, our Formula Ford coordinator, very late to the show. Been a busy day. I'm sure it has, Em. Welcome to the show. And she says, we'll have birthday cake with us Saturday. Whose is that for? Is that yours, Emma? Is it yours as well? We got 2 coordinator birthdays. I know I should know, but I don't know which way is up and down at the moment after daring to have a holiday. Eileen Rutter says, yes, I'm listening, Mr. Dawes. Have a cracking weekend. Greetings, Eileen. Lovely to see you there. Chris Savage says, Le Mans Hyperpole on TV, Combe TV on the iPad. Now, that's a good mix, and I'm pleased to hear that, Sav, that you're watching both. I was supposed to be going to Monza this weekend to cover the 24-hour series, and I had to say, sorry, I'm already busy. I'm at the Super Summer Spectacular, and that was Radio Le Mans covering that as well. But there's so much going on this weekend, isn't there? Absolutely amazing. The Isle of Man TT as well, which I know our Emma Strawford will be glued to as well. Jed Dahl, evening, Jed. Dilly, I'll be there on post 14 with Tim Perry. Let's have some good driving. I want a quiet day. I can imagine you do, mate. As do the drivers, to be fair. Emma says, round the outside at Tower, being brave is one way to put it. Yeah, you're right, Em. You are, and it's your drivers that do that we've seen. Apex Collectibles, we can't wait to be there. Looking forward to Apex Collectibles. As I say, thank you, Colin. See you Saturday, says Tim. Evening all. Dom, the sort of co-coordinator almost of the Formula Fords. Obviously, she's Emma's other half, and they come up together. George Gillespie says, will Marcus Pye be commentating alongside you at the weekend? The answer is no. It's me in the main one. It is Ian Salmon over in 2 and Clive Woodward doing the interviews. So that's what it's going to be. Chris, you are going to be in trouble wearing your pajamas rather than your uniform. It's not my pajamas, mate. Look, it's my beach shirt. Look, I'll even undo a button so it looks like I am going to the beach. I couldn't wear the shirt because I've got 2 days of wearing one polo shirt. So I needed to make sure it's all pristine, ready for the weekend. Not wearing it today. So it's deliberate, mate, this time. I've got enough. It's Castle Combe everywhere else, so I'm all right. I can get away with it this time. Mike Cotton says, cannot find entry lists on Castle Combe Racing Club site. Tomorrow then, I would imagine, Mike. Have a look then. The website keeps playing up. Every time they upload something to the website, it goes down, which is why we have no end of problems on a race day, which is where we get all our information from. But as soon as they upload anything, it goes down and we have to wait for it to be recovered. They keep trying to sort it out, but not sure what's going on. Hopefully it'll get sorted very soon because it does cause no end of issues. So I'm sure they'll do it tomorrow. I have the entry list, which is why I'm going through it, and I'll share the screen of the entry list I have where appropriate, Mike. But keep an eye out tomorrow, buddy, and you'll be able to see them and download them and get them ready. Emma Brown confirms, talk about dedication. Yes, it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday there as well. So 2 of the coordinators. Goose says, oh, the dynamic duo, as in me and Salmon. Absolutely. And it's the first time I've worked with him this year, I think, bizarrely. So I'll get it sorted. There we go. Castle Combe Racing Club. Sorry, guys. I'll do my best to upload entries in the AM. As we said, don't you panic, Kat. You're up against it this time, as everybody knows. And tomorrow will be wicked, and everybody will appreciate that. I have no doubt. Bikes at Combe. I'm trying to find that shirt. Bear with me. No. Oh, I know who said that now. Oh, okay, thank you. It was just giving a justification why I'm wearing my pajamas, as Pete Spiller, or should we say Dave Spiller's dad, says. Yeah. Oh, good point. Dom says, Gin Tennis Ball is in your court this meeting. I'm glad you said that, mate. I completely forgot. I'm going to have to make a decision what goes in it and find that bottle. That was a lovely one you put in it last time, by the way. Dom and I have this great game where we've just got a little sports bottle and we put like half a bottle of a particular gin, and then that goes to him and he gets to try a different gin, and then he'll finish that, replenish it with something different, and that comes back to me. It's a really fun game of gin tennis. Looking forward to it, mate. Right, so let's have a look at the Kumho BMWs. Right, what I'm going to share a screen because then I can actually let me go to an entire screen. I'm going to share screen number 2. That's the easiest way for me to do it. So we've already looked at the Sports 2000s entry list. Let's have a look at the Kumho BMWs I'm talking about at the moment. There is your entry list. Kevin Denwood, Ian Crisp, Nigel Williams, Adrian Bradley, Trevor Ford. That's the main man of the championship. Brian Branson, keep an eye on that car as well. James Carr, Jazz Sapra. Those two just race everything. Pete Miller, Jason West, who I commentated on those guys at Snetterton last month, and Jason West won both of those races. Not by a lot. 0.3 in the first race and 1.7 from James Card in the second. Brian Branson came third in them both. And so, I mean, the BMWs in that are just so quick. It's ridiculous. Pete Miller, there you go. Jason West in car number 76. He's out there in his E46. Klaas Kuka in the Class C M3, Ronan Bradley, Giuseppe Calari, and then a couple of invitation drivers as well, Paul Wood and Cavan Granger. And that could go up because it has a cash prize for this one. It's the Rodger Card Memorial Race. For those who do not know, Rodger was a well-respected BMW racer who, with his son James, raced in the championship from the early 2000s until his passing in 2015. James continued to race in the championship and has been overall champion on 2 occasions. It runs with clearly defined classes as shown on the BMW RDC website, but the main difference at Castle Combe will be that the invitation class will be open to virtually any BMW at the discretion of BMW RDC, with a free choice of tyres, gearboxes, etc. There is a prize fund of £1,000 up for grabs. Now that's the pot, and I think it's being split into different bits and pieces. And so we may well have some other BMWs that will be there on the day and may well enter. So that will be a couple of fantastic races, and I'm pretty sure they are both on the Saturday. Kumho BMW. Yeah, so they're done and dusted on the Saturday, and they will be finished. Talking about on the Saturday, by the way, is that for anybody staying over, there is entertainment on the Saturday as well. So let me just remind you, if you're there over the weekend, on Friday night, the cafe will stay serving food until 9 p.m. and the bar will stay open till about 11ish. On Saturday night, the cafe again will stay open till 9 p.m. and I believe there's even a hog roast that you can buy some food from as well there, and the bar open to 11ish. But one of the other things that's going to be there this weekend is a silent disco. I don't know how many of you have done this, but everybody who has waxes lyrical about it. They rave about the fun of this. Let me share a photo to give you an idea of what this looks like. There we go. That is, in essence, a silent disco. You put headphones on and you have a choice of what music you're going to play. And as this thing says, transported into a personal auditory journey. Bonnet de douche rodders. Choose from multiple channels curated by expert DJs, each offering a unique genre or theme to suit your musical taste, whether you're in the mood for pulsating beats, soulful melodies, or funky rhythms. There's something for everyone. The funniest thing is that if you go into one of those, all of a sudden, quite often a DJ will suddenly stop the music. And you'll suddenly hear everybody singing well out of tune for whichever songs they're listening to. Really funny. Or even if you walk in without your headphones on at any point, you'll just hear, that's basically what you'll hear, is people singing badly to the songs. But that's the entertainment just behind, on the grass area behind the cafe and the bar. So that's what's going to be going on that night. I believe there is a £5 charge for that. But you'll find out when you get there, see what the story is. But the bar will stay open till 11, and then Sunday, of course, it finishes around 11. Okay. This is a good point, because Gerald, as Howell has said, did the silent disco on a recent cruise with one of the funniest things ever. I did see the video of you doing that, actually, Gerald, and agreed. And it was on a cruise that I was on last week. They did it as well, and my nephew and niece absolutely loved it. And when I talked about this on Tuesday on the Classic Touring Car Racing Club TV, multiple people said they've done loads of them on stag do's and things like that, and apparently they are just hilarious. So get yourself to the silent disco. It's going to be great fun, and it means we don't upset neighbours as well with loud music. So it's a good setup. Rob Atwood, good to hear from you, Rob. Looking forward to a great weekend. Good luck to all competitors, especially to Kieran Atwood, Solely Motorsport, and the Formula Ford 1600 teams. Can't wait. You'll be cheering after your boy, won't you? That's for sure. Jed Doyle says, Jazz Sapra, that's a name we haven't heard at Combe for a while. Welcome back. Yeah, it probably is his first race this season, isn't it? It's always hard for me because I've lost count of how many times I've commentated on him this year already. But you're probably right, mate. It will be his first time. Let's share a different entry list now. So let's get rid of that for now. MG Owners Club. Actually, I'm probably doing this in all the wrong order now. I mean, it's such a packed schedule. Mike Cotton's made a valid point that said it would be great if Jazz brought Lucky with him. I've got to be honest, Mike, and say I think it's normally the other way around, but I agree. But Lucky's not. Of course, we got no Castle Combe GTi Championship with us this weekend, although Lucky does like racing the Beamers as well, but he's not out as far as I'm aware. Not sure where he'll be, because, of course, he races in British GT, GT Cup, and he's running other cars in his own team, the Race Lab team as well these days. So he's having a very busy time, and the Ferrari races. I think he's still in that as well. Let me have a look. Now, I'm not going to do the MG Owners Club because they're not till Sunday. Nathan, hello Nathan, hello mate, good to hear from you, buddy. He says Lucky is in Le Mans, so that's where Lucky is at the moment. Is that racing? Is it in Le Mans Cup maybe today? I've lost track of where he is because he's another one that's everywhere. But thanks, Nathan, appreciate that, buddy. Race number 2 of the day is our very own Formula Ford Championship. So let me bring that up instead and just have a look at the entry list for that one. So we've got championship leader Felix Fischer, Luke Cooper, Vincent J, Tom Hawkins, Kieran Atwood, we just heard from his dad a minute ago, Tom Radburn, James Colburn, Ben Mitchell has been going well. He's sat 3rd in the championship. Is he 3rd in the championship standings at the moment? Actually, I don't think it is. I think it's Lucas Romanek's 3rd, and he's not here this weekend. He's racing at Snetterton, I'm afraid. So we'll miss him out. Just as he's getting used to racing these guys in the Formula Fords, he openly said, wow, these guys know how to race this circuit. And he was getting used to it. So the Formula Fords is currently being headed by Felix Fischer on 92 points with a clean sweep of 4 wins out of 4. However, he doesn't have any fastest laps to his names yet, interestingly. Luke Cooper's got 4 second places and 2 fastest laps. Remember the extra point for that one as well. Lucas Romanek sat 3rd in the championship on 73 points with 3 thirds and a 4th and 2 fastest laps. So in the last event, he got fastest lap in both the races, and he very nearly got driver of the day from us. I don't think he quite got it in the end. I forget who got. Oh, it was Chris Southcott got it in the end, but Lucas was very close to getting it, I can assure you. Ben Mitchell sat in 4th. Ben is there, so he'll be looking on only 6 points behind Lucas. He'll be looking to jump himself back up ahead to the top 3 of the overall standings. Luke Cooper will be trying to get one over Felix. I was hoping to get Felix on, but I couldn't quite get him on tonight. We will get him on at some point. But he's saying is that the fighting is so intense at the front that at the end of a race day, he's taken a long time to recover these days. He was openly saying, and of course he's been racing for some time, but he's saying it is that intense at the front. It really is exhausting him. We've got Stephen Bracegirdle out in a Class A car. That would be good to see. Assuming that's correct, that he's out in the Class A. Bob Hawkins, Adam Higgins, still looking to improve that Van Diemen JL15. I didn't know he's from Wootton Bassett. That means he's just down the road from me. And Tom MacArthur and Tom Nippers all out in Class A. Class B, Nathan Ward, the multiple champion in Class B, Nathan Ward, Sean Macklin and Sam Street. Well, Class B is Nathan Ward, Sam Street and Sean Macklin in that order. All 3 of them are out this time. Class C is being led by David Cobbold. He's definitely out here this time, but keeping him honest by only 1 point against Kane Tilley. Kane Tilley's back out again, so keep an eye on that Class C battle. And then on 23 is Richard Earl, and Richard Earl is out there as well. Class D, just Alicia Hamlin on her own in that one, leading the way. James Hadfield doesn't appear to be out this time, so Alicia will be just going for maximum points this time round. So that is the Formula Ford standings and the entry list for that one. That's race 2 of the weekend. Then it's the Sports 2000 Duratec. We've been through that entry list. Then it's the first of our classic touring car racing club entry lists. And if I jump through to this, it's the pre-93, 03, and the blue oval, basically Fords. The Boss Series is the Fords. And in that, we've got Alan Breck in his Ford Capri. I mean, look at these cars that are going to be racing out there. Alan Breck, Ford Capri. Malcolm Wise in his Sierra Sapphire Cosworth. James Dunkley in a ridiculously quick Ford Fiesta. You wait for that one, I'm telling you now. Tim Mizzen in his Ford Fiesta. Is that not supposed to? Yeah, that's supposed to be Keith Mizzen. I don't know why that. Sorry. No, it is. Keith Mizzen's my mate. No, it is right. I'm getting them mixed up again already. So Mizzen's out there, our very own entering in the Boss. Michael Rudge and Jason Rudge in the Mark II Escorts. Nick Mizzen, that's what I was looking for. I knew it wasn't Tim, but that's because we got 2 Mizzens. That's going to keep me confused then. In another Ford Fiesta, our very own Nick Mizzen. Bob Bullen's out in his Escort, but only on the Saturday. Sam Daffin in the Fiesta, and a Ford Escort, a Ford Sierra Cosworth RS500 of Mike Manning out as well. So that's your boss entries. How cool is that? Then you've got Cavan Granger in his BMW, Simon Mann, so this is the pre-03s in another BMW, Alan Hersey, James Alford in a Honda Civic EK, Ross Craig, who is going great guns out there at the moment in his Honda Civic, King of Combe, Gary Preble, out in the Civic. He's been having lots of issues with that car over the course of this year, but he's going to be hoping that he'll have that sorted. He's certainly posted today that he thinks he's got it there, but we'll wait and see. Incidentally, by the way, keeping the messages coming up. Chris Mason, our medic, evening Dawsey from the Masons. Good evening to you all. Joshy and Emma, hope you're well as well. Another one of our very own drivers, Andy Abrams, look, from Melksham. He'll be out in his Civic Type R. Many times he's piloted the BMW elsewhere as well, but obviously he'd always come to Combe, but he's out in that Civic Type R. Great to see he's back out. He's been very unwell of late, and I'm assuming he's definitely going to be there. I know that he'd do everything to get back out there, that's for sure. Ian Knight in the Civic Type R, James McGregor. We've got Chris Southcott in his Civic EK9, so another driver that we know knows this circuit rather well. David Howard in the Tom Walkinshaw Racing XJS. Yep, Tom Walkinshaw Racing Jaguar XJS is going to be out in for Dave Howard. Going to be so good. Andy Cripps in a BMW. Jonathan Olive Cooper. You can see why we might have a few more BMWs racing in the Kumho race. Clint the Chalmers, Mike Dugdale, Stu Waite, who leads the championship at the moment. He's out in his BMW. He's from Salisbury, so he's fairly local to us. And I think he's been doing a rain dance, by the way. Ian Bauer and Kevin Willis. Onto Class C, Jamie Sturgis, Castle Combe GT champion, let's not forget, from a couple of years ago or a few years ago. He's out in this wonderful BMW M535. I think it is basically a Nürburgring taxi. It is just incredible. And he bought it. He's been fine-tuning it, and it's getting quicker and quicker. And it is such a sight to behold in a nostalgic livery as well. So wait till you see that car. David Clark in his Renault 5 GT Turbo. How cool is that? And Nigel Marsh in his Ford Fiesta. So that's the pre-93s, the pre-03s, and the Boss as well. It's fair to say it's going to be epic, isn't it? Quickly catching up on the comments again. Joe Hathaway says, even all, sorry for joining late, burning the midnight oil, getting the clear ready. Can't wait for this weekend. That takes priority, mate, without question. Mike Good, evening, guys. Roll on this weekend. Absolutely. Mike Good's chomping at the bit for that overall title. Let's not forget, in that bright Vauxhall Corsa. Jed Dawes says, Gary Preble's Civic isn't the issue. It's the Seat that's been problematic. His Civic is one mean weapon. Afraid not, Jed. That's been problematic for him as well, mate. He's been having issues last year and this year with the Civic. When it goes, you're absolutely right. It is an incredible weapon, but he's been really throwing some serious tech at it. And his post today is that he thinks he's got it sorted and was thanking a lot of people for getting it sorted. Same with the Seat. Hopefully he's got that one sorted as well. It could be an incredible weekend or an awful weekend. We'll wait and see. Yeah, Chris Mason says, Joshy says, so his little boy says, you're my favourite commentator, Dawsey, even if Daddy likes Martin Haven. Yeah, I did see that, Mason, that you said that he's your favourite. I got you. Jed Daw, you said the R word. I know. Sorry, mate. I'm sorry. Liquid Sunshine. You're right. I know. Elliot Harris says, evening all. Evening, Elliot. Nice of you to join us, mate. So that's that race. Next up was the Sports 2000 Historics. Then it's the Classic Touring Car Jaguar Challenge. Oh, I don't have that on my list here for some reason. I need to double check that one then. That could mean that either it wasn't on the list or it was further down on the list I received today. But the good news is I did have that on the notes that I had from Tuesday's show. So in the Jaguar Challenge, Guy Connew, Stephen Dow, James Ram, Andrew Harper, Colin Philpott, Tom Lenthal, Jack Robinson, Mike Seaborn, who we heard from earlier, David Ringham, Rick Walker, Tim Moran, Andrew Maynard, Simon Lewis, Damian Gray, Lewin Spooner, Joe Osborne, Charles Jackson, David Howard in that Tom Walkinshaw race in Jaguar as well. One of the ones to keep an eye out for, and it's the championship leader actually, Andrew Harper, car 156. It is a Jaguar S-Type R, and he has it in this wonderful silk cut livery. It doesn't say silk cut on it, but you will recognize it as soon as you see it, and it looks epic. It really does. I'm hoping it wasn't a one-off that he's done for that, but it just looks incredible without question. So keep an eye out for the Jags that will continue to entertain us as they always do. Overall championship leaders, I say, Andrew Harper, Mike Seaborn in second, and 2 points behind him is Rick Walker. So that's two Jaguar XJSs, second and third in the standings. So we'll wait and see. Tim Perry says, fingers crossed for Gary is going to finish. Absolutely, I agree. We want him to do well. It's Ignal. Hello, mate. Evening, everyone. Looking forward to this weekend's race. And even though my brother isn't racing the Saloons, I hadn't spotted that yet, mate. That's a shame he's not out there. He's been going great guns this year with the fettling he's been doing to his car, that's for sure. So that's the Jaguars. Then it's back to the Kumho BMW Championship Rodger Card Memorial Race number 2. Then it is the pre-66s and 83s. So let's quickly bring this one up. And they've mixed these two together, and it will still be epic. Ann Astley in his Ford Mustang, Alan Greenhoff in his Vulcan Sprint, Stuart Radford in a Triumph Vitesse, the Austin Mini 7 of Andy Mesham, James Burrows in a Mini Cooper, Michael and Tony Davis sharing the 21 car, their Austin Cooper S. Freddie Brown in their Ford Anglia, another Ford Anglia of Billy Keneally. That's the championship leader, I think, or is he second in the championship? I think he's second to Ibbotson, actually. Tim Dodwell in his Austin Cooper, Ed Gibbs in the Ford Anglia, and Kevin Swan in his Ford Anglia. Luke Wilson, Austin A40, and Brian Bradford in his A40 Farina. Couple of Hillman Imps, Imp Deluxe and an Imp Super of Michael Loveland and the incredibly quick James Ibbotson. Andrew Cross, Saturday only in his Morris Minor. Keith Wright in a Lotus Cortina, as is Pat Keneally. And the final pre-66 is Dan Lewis in his Austin Mini Cooper. Then in the pre-83s, these are bonkers. These pre-83s are incredible. Dan Lewis in his, David Thomas in his Ford Capri Mark 1. Stuart Kay, the chairman, the big dog as I call him, out in his Ford Capri. Stephen Primmett, you wait. If you saw them, what was it, 2 years ago when they were there, Stephen Primmett won by nearly a lap in that incredibly quick Mark 1 Escort. A beautiful, it's white, just in case you can't remember it, and you'll see it, and he handles it well around those corners. And when I say well, I mean badly. He is like a hooligan, he really is. Simon Jeffs in his Mark 1 Golf GTI. A couple of BMWs, Will Davison, who I've seen win the old BMW E30 Championship, Steve Walden. Mostyn Rutter in the Forenza Droop Snoot. That's right, is that we got Mostyn back out. He hasn't been racing for a little while, but we've got that Vauxhall Forenza Droop Snoot out. Duncan Leftley in a Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 1. Mark Osborne in a Triumph Dolomite Sprint. That thing is so quick, it's ridiculous. Then we've got an Escort Iris 2000 of Mark Chorlton. Jonathan Corker in a Datsun 510. That is really quick as well. Mike Broadway in a BMW 2002. Bradley Bostet in his Ford Escort. Bob Bullen, Saturday only in his Ford Escort, and Martin in his BMW E46, and the very tall Don Hughes in his Volkswagen Golf GTI. Feels weird to say that rather than the Peugeot 306 for the big Don Hughes, but he'll be out in that particular car as well. So you can see that is, I think, because I got ahead of 36 cars that will be out in that, combining the two grids, but it's just going to be absolutely incredible. Really, really impressive cars in that one. Then we're back to the Formula Fords. And then to round out the race day's action on day one is the Thunder Saloons. Wow, these things are ridiculously good. Watch out. Simon Light in a 5-litre Ford Capri. I'm not going to tell you what engine is in it, but you wait till you hear it. You'll know straight away. Sam Wilson, who is an ex-Caterham champion as well, a very talented young driver and driver coach. He's out in Ricky Can's Aston Martin V8 Vantage X-Pack. Those two have been working together on this car. If you've seen it in the last sort of year or so, it's going to look very different. It's got extra bodywork on it. They've really worked on the aerodynamics for that car, so super impressive. Alan Breck out in his V8 Euro car, and it's the Merc, the orange Jägermeister Merc. Epic, so good. Nick Vaughan in the Audi A3, an absolute weapon. Neil Philpotts in the Mitsubishi Starion. Michael Rudge Ford Fiesta Mark II. Jason West in his BMW that we'll also see out in the Kumhos. Ronan Bradley will also see out in that as well in his E46. Matthew Skidmore in his ridiculously quick Austin Mini. Paul Wood, BMW. Ian Bauer and Ian Craig in BMWs. AJ Owen. Great to see AJ back again. A very talented young driver, a good friend of mine for many years now. Sad that he's not bringing Bluey, the Sierra Cosworth, but they're getting that ready for the Super Touring Power event that's going on at Brands at the beginning of July. But he is still bringing his Civic Type R, and he'll be racing that hard. Brian Bransom out in his BMW. No surprise there. Same as Jazz Sapra's out. They found another race they can enter. Of course they're going to do it. Gary Hufford, Klaas Kuka, Adrian Bradley, and then we've got the Ford Fiesta of Jason Rudge as well. I mean, that is going to be incredible. I cannot wait. The noise, let alone anything else from those Thunder Saloons, just incredible. Really, really impressive. On to the Sunday, we then have the... oh, Tracy's off. Tracy's off already. Great. Thanks, Chris, and have a great weekend. You too, Tracy. You've had enough. You've got dinner to have now, haven't you? So we've got 4 qualifying sessions in the morning. We then come back out with the Pre-93 and 03 and Boss Championships and the Classic Touring Cars, Sports 2000 Historics, the Jaguars. Then we've got the hot hatches that are coming out to play after that. Let's bring up the hot hatch entry list. So we've got in Class A, Thomas Owen, Julian Fisher, Robert Watson, George Kimber, getting quicker in that Clio. And Tracy just confirmed, yes, dinner and G&T. That's all right. As long as it's a G&T, Tracy, that's fine. You'll be cheering your boys on the weekend. I know you will. Where did I get to? So George Kimber, Claire Pensome, still getting used to the Honda Civic. She's getting quicker and quicker and more confident. She's one of the prime examples of where the hot hatches were designed for. Had just gone brilliantly in track days, and she's now coming out racing and getting more and more used to it. And I know that Dawn Boyd and co that are running her are getting so enthused by her attitude towards it, her patience of just building up that speed and the desire to get quicker and quicker. And she's going to be looking to be challenging at the front, the driver from Gloucester before long. Dean Clayton in the Golf, Dan Lenthal, Tim Fuchs-Bell, both of them in Clios, Daniel Rowe in the Fiesta, Jonathan Fish, Mark Williams, Joe Hathaway, Chris Southcott, and Kai Barker all round out Class A. Benjamin Hart in an MG ZR, Mike Wyatt, Sean Govard in that incredible Citroen AX. Of course, he was a guest on the last Combe TV preview show that we did. Jeff Ryle out in his 106. That was getting quicker and quicker, that Peugeot 106, without question. Jake Olden, good to see Jake out there. Deserves some good luck now, does Jake in his Citroen Saxo. Ray Ferguson is out racing. And he's also in the MG Owners Club, surprise, surprise. Ross Edgecombe, Sean Deacon in the 106, Scott Hughes in another Peugeot 106. Then we've got the Class E, which is just for the minis, remember, which is just great fun in itself. Ollie Kingston, Gareth Haycock, George Walker, the young driver that is just, again, he needs some luck, and he's just showing some incredible maturity when they've had some issues. And he's going to be an incredibly quick driver, I assure you. Great to see Erling Jensen's back out again. Simon Fisher, Tim Daffin, Paul Dickinson, and Gary Franks all out for the Mini. So keep an eye on that. That is a class in its own right that it just gets so exciting to watch. And we've got the Hermanator, Matthew Herman at the Honda Civic FD2R. Unsurprisingly, Emma Strawford says, "Go Claire." Absolutely. She's getting a growing fan base, is Claire Pensome. So keep an eye out for that red Honda Civic, car number 73. The fan base is growing, definitely. Even quicker than her confidence, I would say. The fan base is growing. So that's the hot hatches. They're out as race number 4 on the Sunday. Then the last one before lunch is the pre-66 and 83s classic touring cars. Grid walk for the Saloons, as I say, because then it's the Saloons are the race after lunch. And we have Harrison Chamberlain in the Golf GTI, Dave Spiller in the Audi TT, Tony Dolly in his Leon, Jack Bolton in the Golf, Rob Ellick. Remember, he had that, what was it? Was it a 10-place grid penalty, I think it was, at the start of the last race? And by the time he got himself up into second, Adam had cleared off. Now, hopefully those two will be together, because we can expect some seriously good racing between those two. Adam Preble, unsurprisingly, is out in his Astra. John McMillan in the Megane into Class B. We've got Corey Webber in the Clio. Mark Wyatt in that familiar yellow Astra that is leading the championship at the moment. So good to see a stalwart still there. Graham Cox in the Wayne Paul Racing Clio. Class C, champion of 2 years ago, James Keeping, Jez Williams, Ben Hindle. Remember, Adam Preble is our reigning champion, but he's kept his 66 number. Ben Hindle out in his course, so that's good to see. Nathan Sutton is out in what for me is now the famous MGZR. It is. There's a lot of emotion tied up in it, but it's so good to see that car out there. A previous championship winning car, and his son's now driving it, which is just lovely. James Blake is going great guns, and Lee Waterman is leading Class C at the moment and knocking on the door for the outright championship fight as well. So Lee Waterman is going brilliantly in the MGZR. Mike Good, as I said, he's up there trying to get in on the fight for the Saloon Car Championship as well. He's out there in his Corsa. His dad, Rodger Good, he'll be out as well. And incidentally, obviously, he's RNLI boatman, and our charity of the day, charity of the race weekend, is RNLI. So please remember, they don't get any funding at all. So dig deep when you see the buckets going around for the RNLI. Tim Swift in the Peugeot 106 and Anthony Weeks in the Grant Motorsports Citroen Saxo. So as I say, championship lead, 33 points for Mark Wyatt, 31 points for Mike Good, so he's only 2 points shy, and only 1 point further back for Adam Preble. 27 points is Lee Waterman and Rob Ellick. 26 points is James Keeping. It is so close. It's ridiculous. It is just brilliant. Remember, they score their points in their classes, and that goes towards the overall. And that is how tight it is. It is just fantastic. And it's good to see that the numbers are back up. 20 cars at the moment on the Saloons. It's going to be epic, isn't it? It's going to be so, so good. After that, we've then got the MG Owners Club. And I'll just quickly change over to this. And we've got the MG Owners Club. Last year's champion, Steve McDermott in the MGZR, Adrian Olsen, Malcolm Hill, Christopher Fuchs, Chris Millard, and David Ampflet. In the Z class, we got, oh, sorry, they were A class. Sorry, of course, they were MGBs. So I've mixed them into number order. James Wade, Scott Bugner. I said that Ray Ferguson was in there, invitation class, but he's in there racing. Martin Wills, Mark Grant, Gary Puxty, G. Warner, Andy Heitman, William Sharp, Darren Leonard, Phil Dicker, Jimmy Work, Phil Walker, and Paul Ogborn. And I've just suddenly realised that, interestingly, there seems to be almost like a whole class that is not being represented this particular race meet at the moment. Where did I put the MG Owners Club ones? Here we go. Yes, because we had some great fights previously with the MGFs, and it doesn't look like we've got any MGFs out this time. And at Snetterton, they were really fighting hard. So they've obviously creaked at the seams a little bit there, I'm afraid. So MG Owners Club, then it's the Z Cars Championship and Production GTi. Let me just change one more time so that we're able to see this. Put them together, and it does give us a really good grid. I nearly went into some kind of Mary Poppins song then. Put them together, and what have you got? Bibbidi bobbidi boo. We've got a good number of the BMW Z4s. I know, don't ask. And that will be good as well. And I think what we likely to see, in fairness, in terms of their championship fight, in the Z cars, Ed Giddings has been dominating in the 43 car. He's got 4 wins out of 4 so far. And then Matthew Dance in the 35 car. He's got 4 second places out of 4, but it then gets a lot closer because we've got a 3rd place by Paul Mercer, by Roland Hopkins, Steve Wood, and another one from Paul Mercer. So it gets mixed up behind the scenes on that one. Then in terms of the Golf GTIs, we've got a couple of local drivers. James Colburn's from Bristol. Richard Marsh is one of my fellow Yaters. He's out there, and he was telling me, and I would have missed this point if he hadn't have told me. He says, reaching for the notes to make sure that I can recall which one it was. Yeah, I thought so. Gavin Drake. He's another Yater that's going to come out and race, and he hasn't raced since 2008. So he's super excited to be out there, and that will be great fun. A couple of invitations, an Audi TT and a Mark II GTI. But in terms of the championship fight so far for these guys, is leading the way is Ryan Sayer, the 61 car. That's with 2 victories, a 3rd and a 4th. So it does mix up quite nicely. 2nd is Simon Hill in the 51 car, and he is here as well with 2 seconds and a 3rd. 3rd is James Colburn with a victory and a 3rd in terms of if I just class the podiums at the moment. So it's mixing up nicely. 64, 58, 2 of them on 44 points, 43, 41. You can see how close it is. And those Mark V Golfs, beautifully prepared. They always are, and they race hard and got some good speed to them. Oh dear, Dorsey, guess more G&T required. I'm surprised you say it that way. Carl Alden. Hello, mate. Welcome to the show, buddy. So that's the Z cars and the production GTIs. Then it's the Sports 2000 Duratex, the Thunders, the Hot Hatch Series, Lancaster Insurance MG Owners Club, Saloon Car Championship Race 2, and then the Z cars and production GTIs will round out our action at the close of play on Sunday. So that really sums everything up of what's going on over the course of this weekend. I don't think I've got any other notes as it stands at the moment. Make sure you're there bright and breezy. 8:30 qualifying starts on the Saturday, as I say. First race just before lunch around 12:25 or earlier if we get ahead of time, I'm sure. 8:30 Sunday qualifying starts again, but the first race on the Sunday is 10:20 or earlier because there's only 4 qualifying sessions. So they'll be hoping to sort of whip through those. That is the way the weekend's looking. Super exciting. The weather's going to be great. Don't you panic. Not even going to be liquid sunshine. It's going to be cracking. I can't wait. We're going to be busy, and I hope to see loads of you there. Remember, you can get into the paddock as well. You can come in there. There's no problem. Last I knew that there is no extra fee to get in there. So come in, see the cars, see the drivers, catch up with everyone, get the photos done. I'll be live on the mic from race number 1 or just before that. And as I say, grid walks both days, timing permitting. Get yourself on there. It'll be brilliant. Emma Brown says, see you all Saturday. I'll bring the nice sunshine from Manchester. Seriously, Em, that's the wrong way round to normal, isn't it? You troublemaker. Listen, from me, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your company. I hope you're as excited about this weekend as I am. I genuinely cannot wait for it, but we need to wait just a little bit longer. Just quickly, the last couple of comments. Tim Perry says, thanks, Dorsey. We'll see you Saturday and Sunday. Dilly. All the best to everyone. And George Gillespie says, see you all Saturday. Look forward to it, young man, and hope you have a wonderful time. And Chris Mason says, take care all. And hopefully that won't be you having to take care of anyone, mate. But we'll see you all on the weekend. Have a great one.